Welcome to Pop Cult, where we talk reality TV, celebrity chaos, and pop culture throwbacks. I'm Avery.
And I'm Julia.
And this is Pop Cult. Today, we're doing our first pop culture throwback episode, which is about Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston's relationship and marriage. And I have got to be honest, I did not know that they were in a relationship ever.
Wait, you didn't?
No, I had no idea.
Guest starred on an episode of Friends.
Yes, he
so
did, but they were already married when that happened.
That's I guess was my introduction to them being together, because at the time, I was so young, I only knew Brad and Angelina Jolie, so that's how I knew they were together. I guess I'll learn, but I'm fuzzy on the ending of Jen and the transition into Angelina Jolie, but I'm pretty sure it has to do with Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which is a very good movie, but that's how they met, if I'm not.
We'll get into it. I'm shocked that you know all this because I guess we're showing our ages here. I mean, I'm older than you.
But I'm a huge movie person, so Mr. and Mrs. Smith is a very good movie. It's very old, but it's good.
Right. No, but it was funny. When I was deciding to do this episode, I was telling my mom and my sister-in-law about it, and I was like, did you guys know that they were in a relationship? And they were like,
yes. They were like the it couple.
I know. They really were kind of like the first it couple, of, the new millennium, if you will. It's interesting. But basically, I mean, this is early days. I'm not a pro researcher. I'm really just doing this for fun and my own curiosity is sort of things that I'm interested in learning about. And so that being said, give me some grace when it comes to the research and everything. It will get better as we go. And I know that there's probably more nuance to this story, but this is kind of what I found and what I put together. So some things might not be covered and whatnot, and some of this could be alleged. It's really just, it is what it is. So yeah, hopefully I'll get better, but so far I'm having fun researching these little things. All right, so let's get into it, shall we? Anything else that you want to add, things that you knew about this or whatever?
Wait, so Brad and Angelina are not together anymore, right?
No, they're not.
That's what I thought. Because I just listened to him on Dax Shepard.
Oh, yeah?
But he didn't speak about either of them, which is fair. It's his personal life.
I listened to that episode too. They talked a lot about his F1 movies.
Yeah, which I didn't see the F1 movie. I wanted to, but I never got around to it.
I didn't see it either, but I do. I love Dax Shepard's podcast, but that episode I had to turn it off because they were talking so much about the cars and stuff. Dax Shepard is really into that kind of stuff. I think he has many cars.
He does.
So I was like, oh my God, I don't think this episode's for me.
And his poor little co-host was like, please
no. Monica, yes. I love her. I love Monica. Shout out. Shout out. Armchair expert. Okay, let's get into it. So first I'm going to go through kind of both Brad and Jen's background, and then we'll kind of talk about how they came to be as a couple and what that looked like through their divorce and afterwards, and some of the more recent news, if you can believe it or not, 25 years later, 20 years later, I guess, they are still being talked about as a couple. Alrighty. Brad Pitt was born William Bradley Pitt in Shawnee, Oklahoma, on December 18th, 1963. Fun fact, Julia and I have both been to Oklahoma. We went once, and I thought it was pretty.
It was gorgeous.
Yeah. The weather was really nice. He was born in Oklahoma, but he really grew up in Missouri, and he attended the University of Missouri, which I think is also referred to as Mizzou.
Yeah, I think he refers to it as that.
Yeah, and most people do, right? But I didn't know if they were the same thing, but I think they are. And he studied advertising and journalism, which I thought was interesting.
Very Rory Gilmore of him.
Of course. He originally wanted to be an advertising art director. And he was also in Sigma Chi fraternity.
Oh, Lord.
I know. I thought that was funny. His friends and classmates recall that he was super social, very outgoing, which checks out. And He even participated in things like a pinup type calendar for fundraisers, I'm assuming for the fraternity, which I just think is funny because I don't think they would ever let a fraternity or sorority would ever allow something like that now. And then right before he graduated, he actually dropped out of school and moved to LA to try and make it as an actor. He even lied and told his parents that he was studying at a school in LA called the Art Center College of Design, but he was not. He was a college dropout and unemployed.
Oops.
Yeah. So it's said that supposedly he always wanted to be a major movie star and was inspired by actors at the time, such as John Travolta, which when I saw that, I was kind of like, why did I feel like they were of the same generation? Like, I guess I didn't really realize how much older John Travolta
Yeah,
was.
very much older.
Yeah. Like, when I see pictures of him, it makes sense, but like, I don't know why I felt like they were the same era. Maybe they were a little bit. Um, but regardless, he was having a really hard time finding work, and his first gig was basically being the mascot of a chicken restaurant called El Pollo Loco, which is a Mexican restaurant that I have not heard of, but I think it's a chain. So maybe it's just like a West Coast thing. But he was wearing a chicken suit dancing around. Like the people who, dance around outside the restaurant, sometimes they have signs that they spin
Yeah.
around. That was the vibe. So he was broke as hell at this time. But
You
it
lived.
didn't, and you know what? It all paid off in
There
the
you go.
end. It took him about 7 months in LA to find an agency and start regularly acting. His first big gigs, he got booked for several gigs with Levi's, and then got a role playing a cowhand in a show called Dallas, which was a soap opera that ran on CBS from 1978 to 1991. It's such a long time.
Never heard of it.
No, me neither. I'd be interested. We need to ask our moms about this because I'm interested if they, like, watched it or anything. But this was basically the start of a very long history of him dating his co-stars because he dated his co-star on Dallas. Her name in real life is Shalane McCall. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, who was also his girlfriend on the show. And then just a little bit more about his dating history in regard to his co-stars. Rumor has it that he then dated his co-star Givens, who was previously married to Mike Tyson, but at the time that they were rumored to be together, she was going through a divorce with Mike Tyson, and it was sort of shocking that they were together, but they broke up after about 6 months. But I'm not sure that I'd want to mess with someone who used to be married to Mike
No, that's
Tyson.
a little intimidating.
Yeah. I'm not sure that was maybe his best move, but who knows? But it seems like this could have maybe put him on the map a bit more, given that she was already a public figure in the middle of a divorce with another public figure. He then received a role in the movie Thelma and Louise, which is kind of considered to be his breakthrough role, but it was still a small role, and he has an on-screen relationship with the actress Gina Davis, which then evolved into an off-screen relationship. And something that I thought was interesting, and probably something that a lot of people already know, but this was Gina Davis is the actress who was the prenatal surgeon on Grey's, the one who had, I think, like the brain tumor, and she was training Arizona to be like, you know what I'm talking about? She
Great.
trained, and they work on the intrauterine babies.
Did she die?
I don't think so. But yeah, it's crazy, like, I feel like Grey's does that a lot where they have actors that had, like, huge movie careers and then but maybe, like, someone, more millennial Gen Z might not know who they
Yeah.
were. But I thought that was funny. He continued to star in smaller roles until he played a serial killer in the movie California with a K. I'm assuming it's a spin on, like, the word killer. I don't
Uh,
really know. I haven't
I
seen
don't
it.
know.
And from California, he started dating his co-star Juliette Lewis, who has had a long career, but she most currently can be seen playing adult Natalie in the show Yellow Jackets. I know you haven't watched
I'm
that,
too scared.
but it's so good, and she's such a good actor in that show. I wish we saw more of her. And then he had a larger role in a movie called Interview with a Vampire and was in a movie with Morgan Freeman called Seven, where his on-screen wife was Gwyneth Paltrow. And you guessed it. Did you know
Yeah, I
this?
knew they
What I was
dated.
about to say? Okay. I did not know that they dated either. So they started dating, and she was just kind of coming onto the scene, but they ended up being engaged for a little
I
while.
think I saw this TikTok once where it was like Brad Pitt morphs to look like all of his girlfriends.
Oh, yeah, 'cause he had like that really long
Yeah,
hair,
I don't
right?
know if that was when he was dating Gwyneth or not, but like she was a part of the TikTok and like you can tell like he has like bleach blonde hair at that time, I think, when he was dating her, so, like, that's how I found out, I think, but
Yeah, I could definitely see that being the case because I feel like he was really young when he had that hair. So, probably was when he dated her. Actually, I think also he had that when he was dating Juliette Lewis, now that I think about it. I saw some photos. So, yeah, they were engaged for a little while, and then during this time, he also received his first Oscar nomination in 1995 for Best Supporting Actor in the movie 12 Monkeys. Have you seen any of these movies, these old movies?
not so far.
Okay. But eventually, Brad and Gwyneth called off the wedding, basically blaming the press scrutiny and lack of privacy for the demise of their relationship. And I kind of feel like this time frame was like the beginning of like really bad press
Yeah,
interference.
that's fair.
So there was even an instance where naked pictures of them somehow got leaked, and he was also being stalked by female
Oh my
fans.
god. You're
At one point, female fans even like one even broke into his house.
oh my god.
Like, can you imagine
No, that's
coming home and
terrifying.
like, awful. But ultimately, it became a situation where their relationship was becoming more important in the press than their acting careers, and the press was focusing more on the 2 of them as a couple versus, like, the work that the 2 of them were
Yeah,
doing. So, I think that also contributed. But he was continuing to act in many movies and even acted alongside Harrison Ford in The Devil's Own, which, just like a fun fact, performed really well in the box office, but it kind of flopped when it came to reviews and ratings, and that kind of happened a couple of times in bigger movies that he was in, but I haven't seen that one either, so I cannot give my review.
nope, me neither.
And okay, so to wrap up his dating history before Jen, Brad also dated Uma Thurman and a slew of other actresses and
I did not know
models.
about Uma. That shocks me.
Uma, you and Uma on a first name
Yeah,
basis.
me and Uma are on a first name basis.
You guys are tight. And he wrapped up the 90s in terms of his acting career with his role in Fight Club, which I also haven't seen.
I've seen Fight Club, but, like, I haven't seen a lot of his older movies, I guess, now that I'm realizing. Obviously, I know him from Oceans, but and,
Yeah.
like, Moneyball and stuff like that, but I haven't
Mhm.
seen his
Yeah, me neither. Maybe we should watch them. But regardless, obviously a lot of acting history and many roles that I hadn't heard of, but he really kind of started at the bottom with commercials and very small gigs, but I feel like this isn't a slight to Jen's, like, get your bag, girl, but it's kind of ironic because I feel like I'm always seeing her in commercials now.
Yeah, but she slays them.
Yeah, no, she's so good, but it's just, like, interesting how, like, I feel like a lot of celebrities, if they've been in the game for a really long time, they will kind of, like, kind of, like, go back to commercials. Like, I feel like Elizabeth Banks and who is it? Jennifer Garner, like, both of them have
Well, I feel like they offer you so much money that you, like, can't refuse, and it's not like it's, like, hard, long day shoots. It probably, like, takes a day to film all of that, and then you make money off of
exactly.
that for the rest of the year, like, I can't blame them.
No, I don't either. I just think it's, like, an interesting sort of dichotomy. And another little fun fact, he was nominated as Sexiest Man Alive in 1995 and
But
2000.
not since? That kinda surprises me.
Think so. Let me look and see
I mean, how
was
many times
Brad.
can you be Sexiest Man Alive?
You can definitely be it more than once because I definitely think people have. I'm sorry. He wasn't even just nominated. He was named. He was named as Sexiest Man Alive in 1995 and 2000.
Like,
Did anything surprise you about
yeah, me and my girl Uma, she didn't tell me.
you need to text
For
her
real,
and let
I'm
her
gonna
know.
call her up. That's the only one I
What
was, like, shocked about.
what would happen if you just called Taylor
I
up?
mean, I might. I'm gonna have to get her number. Let me talk to Brad first.
Okay. Yeah. Okie dokie. All right. Moving on to Jen's background, Miss Jennifer. I never really have called her Jen, but I kind of feel like that's what people refer to her as.
I think I would say she goes by Jen, but I
Yeah.
also don't know her. Unfortunate.
Yeah. She's so funny. I listened to her on, it's probably an old episode, but on, what is that? Smartless, the
Oh,
podcast with like,
yeah. That one that's a good podcast.
yeah, she's so funny on that. They're hilarious. Okay, so she was born in Sherman Oaks, California on February 11th, 1969. Originally, her name was, I'm gonna butcher this, Anastasic. Hold on, Anastasicus. I
Anastakis?
Anastasicus. Yeah, Joanna Anastasicus, which is Greek. I didn't know she was Greek.
I
Did
did
you?
not know she was Greek.
Also, what zodiac sign does that make her?
For February, she's whatever my mom is. It's like emerald.
No, that's mine. That's
I
May.
swear to God.
Okay, February and makes her an Aquarius. Brad is a Sagittarius. According to Google AI overview, Sagittarius and Aquarius are generally considered a highly compatible match.
Well, I mean, they were married.
Honestly, we'll kind of get into it, but I do think that they were a good match. Like, it was like a third party that kind of,
Oh,
came
well, I'm
in.
excited.
So, okay, Jen lived in Greece for a little while during her early childhood until her family moved to New York City so that her father could pursue acting. And he got a long-standing role on Days of Our Lives, the soap opera, which my mom used to watch. And me and my brother used to make so much fun of her because one time we came home from school and she was like propped up, laid back in her chair watching Days. And I don't know if she did that frequently, but now it's just like a core memory that we always bring.
That's so your mom.
Right. But yeah, he was a series regular on Days of Our Lives for a really long time. And actually, her father and her godfather were actually both actors, with her father being in Days, and her godfather was in a show called Kojak and movies such as The Dirty Dozen, which was a war movie, another one called On Her Majesty's Secret Service, and another one called Kelly's Hero.
That's so interesting with Days of Our Lives, though, because that's what Joey's on in Friends.
Oh my God. You're
I'm
right.
curious if that's, like,
Wait,
related.
that's so I didn't find anything on it being, but that's, like, actually really funny. And Days of Our Lives is still running, which
It
is
is?
creep it's like those soap operas, like, they never end, it's wild. I
What?
think it is. You could say that she would be what we would consider today as a nepo baby because she had access to agents via her dad, but definitely not to the same extent as some of the
Yeah,
current nepo
yeah.
babies. And for the listener, the single listener, we're also considering doing an episode on like the origin of nepo babies because I feel like it's really a thing, especially these days. And I am always shocked to find out that certain actors and actresses have family in the biz. So maybe we'll do that. Her parents divorced when she was 9, and she was mostly with her mother after that. Her mom was a model and they had kind of a rough relationship. Her mom would tell her things like she wasn't pretty and that I think like her nose was too big and like just things like that.
Yeah, I don't like
It kind of all like even trickles into a little bit regarding like Jen and Brad's wedding. So I think that they kind of maybe had a rough relationship for the remainder of I'm not sure. I think she's still alive, but I think they've always kind of had a rough
that
relationship.
sucks.
But Jen joined the drama club at age 11, and she was also an avid painter. And I thought this was so interesting. One of her paintings was put on display at the Met.
That's very interesting.
I know. I just think it's interesting. Like, I always think it's interesting that I feel like so many actors and actresses are like triple threats,
Yeah.
and like that artistry doesn't stop when it comes to visual arts and fine arts. It's just, that's not necessarily always where the money is. So I feel like a lot of them kind of abandon that, but I thought that was cool. And she supposedly had natural comedic timing from a very early age. She went to the New York High School of Performing Arts, and this high school is what went on to inspire the movie Fame from 1980. Have you ever seen that?
No.
Me neither. And she also appeared in a couple of off-Broadway productions, which were called For Dear Life in 1988 and Dancing on Checkers' Grave, which was also in 1988.
It's interesting. I didn't realize she did theater. I guess that makes sense, but
One time my mom said to me, like, nearly every actor's dream is to be on Broadway. Like, that is like the pinnacle of like true, pure theatrical, I guess, expression or like
yeah. I mean,
that's
I
like
think a
such an
lot get
achievement.
more like it's like the instant gratification kind of thing. Like, because when you're doing live theater, you're seeing live reactions. So I can understand that.
That's a good point. And I mean, you're a former theater
Oh,
kid.
God. Do we have to talk about that?
I mean, no, but I thought you're so good. Remember that one play you did where you looked like where you looked like Aunt Cena?
Yes.
I'm like, you were so good though. Your acting was so good.
Thank you. That actually means a lot to me. I was so self-conscious at the time. This was so long ago, but
I know. You were a little high schooler. But ultimately, Jen knew that she would need to move to LA to make it as an actor. New York was off the scene when it came to the actors, I guess. And in 1990, she booked her first sitcom, which was called Malloy, where she played the stepsister of the main character. But unfortunately, the show was canceled after only 7 episodes. She was so young. I like looked up pictures of her in that. It's
Wow.
crazy. She then booked a role on a 1992 sketch comedy show called The Edge, as well as a role in the Ferris Bueller sitcom, which was a spinoff of the film. She was in several other shows as a guest star, but had yet to find something long term, which was kind of similar to Brad's experience, but probably kind of a universal experience if I had to
Yeah, for
guess.
sure.
It's so much easier now with like social media and everything. It's just, yeah, you can blow up on TikTok and like suddenly you're
You're on Dancing with the Stars.
on Dancing with the Stars. Yes.
No shade.
Exactly.
I'm so excited.
No, no shade at all. I'm excited. I saw a video. We're talking about Alex Earl. I saw a video of her with her partner
Oh my
Val.
god,
Like,
when she was like falling, collapsing. But you know,
no, I saw one where she was like really like she's good. I think she's
I
gonna
saw
be
a funny
yeah.
one that she posted. She can walk in heels like nobody's business, so she's gonna do great. Like I'm very excited.
Yeah, I agree. I think she's gonna do it. And she's young, so
Yeah.
that'll help. Okay. And then iconically, as we all know, in 1994, Jen got the audition for a pilot show called Friends Like These,
Mm.
which we obviously know became Friends. I actually didn't know that it was called that, but
I feel like pilots always have different names, like the original submission, not like the filming of the pilot, but
yeah. I also feel like pilot seasons, like, I mean, what do I know? I'm not in this business, but I kind of feel like pilot season and just like pilots in general are not quite as common
no, because you
anymore.
can go like straight to streaming.
Yeah, it's probably so
Like
stressful.
normally your like pilot season now is like a whole season of a show, and then they cancel it, and you're like, and you're like a
That's
little bit,
true.
and it's really upsetting.
That's true. I didn't know this either, but she was actually asked to audition for Monica, but she said that she felt she would fit Rachel better. And they actually wanted Courtney to be Rachel and Jen to be Monica because Courtney was more famous at the time. And it's funny, like in an ensemble cast, I feel like I didn't really realize that they were kind of trying to like maybe elevate one over the other. But like, I think Rachel was kind of, supposed to be the main character. But both of them said that they thought they should switch roles.
Well, I'm glad they did.
I know. It's so
They're so
weird. Think.
fantastic.
Mhm. She blew up from this, as we obviously know now. And also her on-screen relationship with Ross and her little bob hairstyle
The Rachel.
blew the Rachel, exactly. She has really had, I think even to this day, the same hairdresser since being on
Oh, that's
Friends.
sick.
And he
I love that.
right. It reminds me of like Taylor Swift's band.
Yeah, they had the same band members forever. I love that, like the loyalty. I love it.
I know, it's iconic. But he's the one that came up with the Rachel haircut that was so famous, but I actually do think I knew this, but she hated it. She hated that haircut.
I feel like I did know that too. That sounds very familiar to me.
Yeah, and she said that it was funny watching people try and replicate it because it's so specific and it kind of has to like lay a certain way and you have to style it every day. I think she would like warn people like don't
Well,
get
I
this
always have
haircut.
to like remind myself when I want a haircut that's in a show. Every 5 minutes, that hair is restyled so it looks perfect, and so that's when I
Exactly.
like hit reality, and I'm like, that's why it doesn't look like that.
Nothing is
Yeah,
real. Ironically, at the same time she was auditioning for Friends, she also auditioned for SNL.
that's crazy.
And right? And she got the part.
That's crazier. I didn't realize she had a comic side. I mean,
I
she has
know.
great comedic timing, but I didn't realize she wanted to do like stand up like that, like or
Yeah.
like sketch.
Well, that was the thing. She was not a stand-up comic. Like I don't think that that was her goal. So, she obviously chose Friends, thank God. And then, obviously Friends was wildly successful. In 1999, they threatened to leave the show if they did not get paid more. They wanted $1 million per episode. And they really negotiated this for a long time. And they all stuck together during this negotiation. And they netted out at $750,000 per episode.
So much money.
Sickening,
I would love to see that much money.
right? Share the wealth. But I think it's sweet that the cast really fought. They all really fought
I love
together.
that they negotiated together and made sure each of them were making the same amount of money and nobody was like privately negotiating or anything like that. Like they were all really sticking
Exactly.
together, which I love.
Exactly. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure I think that Courtney Cox was the highest paid female actress for a television show ever, like, at the time where they maybe negotiated, like, before the
Oh,
negotiation, I
I
think.
see. Yeah.
I also think she might have been getting paid more than the men on the show. She really was, like, the most
Like,
famous at the time. Yeah. Um, During her hiatuses from Friends, like, in the midst of, negotiation, but also just, like,
their
when they were
summers off,
breaking.
yeah.
Yeah. She appeared in several films, including the horror film Leprechaun, which has had a couple of like, I think it had a sequel and then maybe like a third movie, but I I don't think she was in the second two, and I think she's like maybe not said some not great things about like the quality of that film. So I thought that was interesting. And then rom-coms like She's the One and Picture Perfect. Have you seen any of those?
No, I've never even Leprechaun, maybe? What is She's the I feel like a bad movie person.
I know I'm not a great movie person, to be honest.
I love movies, that's the thing. I don't know this. Sad.
Interesting. Overall, Jen was always kind of a fan favorite. And I think that this is still kind of true. Like, I feel like I never really hear Jennifer Aniston getting any bad press or like anything like that. I just think I feel like she's really down to earth and she's just like truly stays really true to her talents and skills. And I feel like she's a good
Yeah.
person. In terms of her dating history, it's a little bit less in depth than Brad's, but she dated Counting Crows lead singer Adam Duritz in 1995. So I think that would have been like right around when Friends was starting. And then she also dated Tate Donovan, who was briefly engaged to Sandra Bullock. Fun fact. I recognized him, but I'm not sure if I could like pinpoint anything I've seen him in. And she and Tate Donovan dated for 2.5 years up until 1998. And I didn't know this, but she was nominated for 2 Golden Globe Awards for her role in Friends.
She never won?
I don't think so.
Sad.
Okay. So now, after that was a lot of background, but I just feel like it's interesting to kind of set up their lives before one another because obviously these people are more than just their
Yeah.
relationships. They have had longstanding, very successful careers. So I just wanted to highlight some of that. But we'll get into the reason for the episode, which is Jen and Brad's iconic relationship. At the time when they met, Jennifer was working in comedy TV shows, Friends, and Brad was primarily doing movies. The perception when they started dating was that she really scored with him. Like he was from the Midwest and like really made it big in Hollywood and dated all these models and actresses. And he was sort of like the guy next door. He had kind of been in the game for a little while longer. They met briefly for the first time in 1994, but not romantically. I think they both would have been in relationships at that point. And then in 1998, the two were set up on a date by
Wait,
their
in
managers.
1994, the first meeting, what was that? Like,
I think they might have just met at just like,
okay.
celebrities meet at shows or whatever. But yeah, it wasn't romantic. But, I think it's natural that they would have like at least run into each other once or
Yeah.
twice, been at the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
event.
In the same
They
circle.
were set up, yeah, in the same circle. But I thought it was funny that they were set up by their managers. I didn't know managers
Yeah,
did
I need
that.
a manager. Stop.
Okay, I'll get on
Thank you.
that. She said that she knew after the first date that their relationship would be significant in her life. And it's said that what made them gel is how down to earth both of them were. And they were similar in that they had both rose to fame in the 90s, which I do think sort of makes a difference. I kind of feel like the 90s was maybe a little bit of a turn to like really people getting really involved in the lives of
Yeah.
celebrities as we're currently doing. Very soon after their setup, they began to be spotted together often and they were confirmed as a couple but tried to avoid being photographed together and were very private, mostly due to Brad's experience with Gwyneth. But they were later spotted house hunting together, so it became obvious that it was serious.
Already?
Yeah, it moved fast. It moved
Okay.
fast. Neither were new to dating celebs, and they were both A-listers by the time that they dated. They were Hollywood's power couple. They were all over People magazine, all over the gossip shows. They were like the first modern super couple or like Hollywood's golden couple. So to run back the timeline, they started dating in 1998, got engaged in November of 1999, and got married in July of 2000.
Wow.
They got engaged in secret, and then they made their public debut as an engaged couple at a Sting concert in New York City.
Wait, I'm so dead. It's giving like Kourtney Kardashian telling the world about her pregnancy at a Travis Barker concert.
That was so insane.
I was so
Obviously, they were trying to get pregnant for a really long time, so, like, he was, of course, happy, but what if he
Wait, no, I think he already knew, and that was them telling, like, the world.
Oh, I thought he found
Oh,
out
no.
at
I
that
mean, I've
con
watched the Kardashian show, but that season was so long ago at this point, I don't remember, but
I know. I do love their show, the new one. They kept their wedding details very hush as they planned the wedding, and their wedding is estimated to have cost upwards of $1 million. Ouch. They even got matching I thought this was funny. They even got matching blonde highlights for their wedding. Like, that is so something that I feel like Megan Fox and MGK would do now or
I miss
something.
them, bring them back. They're not together anymore.
I think I might do an episode on them. We
Bring
should
them
do one on them.
back.
Yeah, I love Megan Fox. Interestingly enough, kind of a callback to her childhood and her relationship with her mother was not invited to the wedding
I mean,
because
it's
she
my
had
business, Jen. Fuck yeah. Don't you they
you know,
always tell you to if never invite your non-friends to your wedding, even if that's your mother.
I mean,
You want
period.
to enjoy
Yeah.
your wedding, not be stressed the whole day.
To be clear, we both love our mothers.
They would also kill us if they weren't at our wedding.
No, literally. They'd be like, "Okay." But her mother supposedly had the tendency to spill family drama in public, and you know what? That is giving
Oh
our mothers.
my god, they love to yap.
Our mothers, like, we will tell them something, and, like, if we don't specify, even if we do
They'll tell each
specify,
other
like, "Don't tell
immediately.
anyone," they will literally tell the whole family. It's too good. Like, I know that I don't even need to make a PSA to the family because my mom will just tell everyone
Yeah.
for me. Her mom had also published a book called From Mother and Daughter to Friends, presumably about her relationship with Jen. Jen was not thrilled with it
No.
overarchingly.
Why are we that's just like trying to be famous. Like, no,
Yeah, it's
no,
weird. It's giving social climber.
no. I like it.
Yeah, and I honestly didn't really look into much about, what the book was about because I
And it's
just
fair.
feel like
It's not what the episode's
it
about.
would have been weird.
And
Ex
Jen doesn't like
exactly,
it, so we don't like it. So why are we gonna look?
exactly. But her father was there, and so was Brad's entire family. She supposedly had cold feet at the wedding and demanded to speak to Brad before, which fixed things clearly, but I think she was probably just having a
Well,
little moment of,
I
like
don't think that's bad.
yeah. I also feel like a lot of brides, like, they start to freak out because they, like, can't,
A wedding is like
like, see
the
their
most
husband.
pressure you could feel in a day, I feel.
Yeah, and it feels weird that, like, you're not allowed to see
Like
them.
that's like a it's just like such a stupid wives' tale with
Yeah,
like no better wording I can think of.
yeah. My brother
I know.
saw my
But
sister.
literally that's what I was thinking. I was like, that's my best example that I have.
Yeah, he, like, brought us Chick-fil-A.
Well, they were like just like sitting together before the ceremony, and I was like, this is just like perfect. This is who
Yeah,
makes you calm, the person you're marrying. Be with them.
exactly, I totally agree. They even had Greek food at their wedding to honor her culture, and they had a 13-minute fireworks show at the
I'm
end.
sorry. That's crazy. But I have a hatred for fireworks.
Mm. I'm sure that whoever, like, lived around that area really appreciated the
I'm yeah,
13-minute fireworks
you're
show.
really excited about that one.
Shockingly, I saw actually a couple different takes on this. Some were saying that the media actually, like, left them alone on their
No
wedding
way.
day, but then others were saying that there were, like, maybe a
Yeah. Well,
helicopter.
like
Where
way back when it wasn't like everyone on their damn phone filming everything, I feel you could pay off the paparazzi to not come that day. Like pay them more than what the picture that was taken of them would have been worth. So like I'm sure that that's what they ended up doing.
That's a good point, I didn't think about that. But there were, of course, many rumors about her being pregnant because of how quickly they were
Oh my
moving.
god.
But also just, like, people saying like, the 2 of them were, I guess, quote, unquote, "hotheads," like, implying that they were just passionate and were basically like, "Let's just get married, screw it, who cares?" And there were also reports that Gwyneth Paltrow was pretty
Oh
heartbroken
my
about the
god.
wedding, but, like, they love to say that
No.
about a woman who's been in a relationship with a
Leave
man, you
her
know?
alone.
Like, she had nothing to do with this. And I've also never seen anything about, like, Jennifer
What
Aniston and Gwyneth Paltrow ever having any sort of, like,
yeah,
beef
wasn't it
or
like it was
anything.
like a full year when they got like posts, so
Yeah. Yes,
and she's
exactly.
doing just fine. I mean, maybe she was upset.
I mean, also, I'm pretty sure she's, like, married, like
Yeah, she has a daughter named Apple,
yeah, I knew she had a daughter
and
named Apple.
I dig that.
Yeah.
Not for me.
No, not for me. I didn't really find anything on them having issues during their marriage. It seemed like everything was going well, but I did find this interesting. They had apparently told Vanity Fair a year prior to their divorce that there is so much pressure from day one to be with someone forever, and I'm not really sure if it's in our nature to be with someone for the rest of our lives.
Uh,
That's basically a direct quote. There is so much pressure from day one to be with someone forever, and I'm not
that was
really
like a
sure if it's in our nature.
a joint statement.
Kind of. I think she might have been the one to say it, but, like, I think that it was a Vanity Fair article that they did
Mm.
together. Brad even appeared in a 2001 episode of Friends called The One with the Rumor, playing a man who was holding a grudge against Rachel, and he was actually nominated for an Emmy for his performance in this
It's
episode.
such a good episode.
Yeah, he was nominated for an Emmy for Outstanding Guest Actor in a Comedy Series. Remind me what that episode was about. Was
So
it
it's
like she,
so
like,
it's a
bullied him in high
Thanksgiving
school or
episode,
something?
and basically, Brad Pitt is playing this guy they went to high school with who was friends with Monica, and they both, because the show just had to be fat phobic. They were both fat in high school and, like, really hot now, because every show and their mother always had a storyline like that. Like, I mean, even New Girl, but that's besides the point. They were both fat in high school, lost weight, now they're attractive, all that jazz. And Ross and Brad Pitt's character had started a club in high school called I Hate Rachel Green Club. Because I guess Rachel had, well, obviously Ross was in love and mad he couldn't be with Rachel. So he started the club, but didn't tell Brad Pitt that that was why he had started the club. And Brad Pitt thought it was because, Rachel was a bully in high school and had said mean things about him or started rumors about him and Ross. So they had a I Hate Rachel Green. Obviously Ross had never told Rachel about this I Hate Rachel Green club, but Monica runs into Brad Pitt and it's like, you should come for Thanksgiving dinner. Like, you even know where to go. And he didn't realize Rachel would be there. And I believe at this point Rachel was pregnant. And he doesn't realize that Rachel's baby daddy is Ross. And when he finds out, it's super funny. It's a good episode.
I've seen Friends all the way through, but it was just so long ago. I think I watched it when I was in college that, like, I just don't remember
Friends is
a
one of
whole lot of
my
it.
my bedtime TV shows. I
Mm,
watch it fall
that's
asleep.
Vanderpump Rules for me.
I can't watch things that I like. I have to know them so well that my brain
Yeah.
will let me sleep to it.
Yeah. They also created a production company together called Plan B Entertainment. And in 2004, Jen stated that she and Brad wanted to start a family. So basically, they got married. Things seemed to be great. He was in an episode of Friends. They started a production company together. She's saying that they want kids together. And this sort of rounds out the dating, engaged,
So
married portion of their relationship.
they married in 2000. 2004, she says baby. Friends ends in 2007. So she was getting divorced on the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a few months after this 2004 interview where she says that they're thinking about starting a family, Brad got the lead male role in the movie Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
No, I knew it was coming to this.
We all knew where it would
I
end
knew
up. We
we
just
were gonna
didn't want it to
end
happen.
here.
So obviously we know that his co-star in this movie was Angelina Jolie, and she kind of had a reputation of being a homewrecker. I'm not sure if
Wait
there
for
was
real.
like much evidence to substantiate this. I didn't like find anything on like homes that she had wrecked, but I guess maybe, I mean, she was gorgeous, literally like us, just a
I'd wreck
stunning
my
human.
home. All I have to
Right.
say.
So that's all I have to say. But Brad was like the good guy next door type. So I
Bro,
think
rolling my
nobody was
eyeballs at
really
that.
shaking my head. I think, like, nobody was really expecting this from him, and Jen actually said that she had no issues with them filming together, like, I'm sure I'm sure that there was questions about it, like, you
Well, I
know,
feel like in a healthy relationship, if you're gonna be in a movie where you're filming sex scenes with somebody, you do need to sit down with your partner and be like, "What are my boundaries? What should I put on my contract? Like, what are you okay with?" Like, I obviously I'm acting like I'm chill, but like I feel like it's a necessary discussion for a healthy relationship, but
right, maybe not in 2004,
probably
though.
not.
Yeah. But yeah, Jen said she had no issues with them filming together and that they had met and spoke. She had even like spoken to Angelina Jolie. So there was no jealousy or insecurity. She said that she hoped that they had fun on set. But shortly after, rumors started about Brad and Angelina, but she continued to say that she wasn't
To
worried.
be fair, these rumors were probably at the time, like at first made up, but like
Yeah. So this is actually interesting because you just said Friends ended in 2007, but I'm seeing that
I
I found that okay. So let's look it up.
what? My god. Oh, it's because Gilmore Girls didn't fit into it, I'm saying.
So during the filming of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Friends ended, and Jen said that she was planning to go on to the set of the movie and hang out and watch them film, but unfortunately, this never happened because this is ultimately what broke up their marriage. And in early 2005, they announced that they were divorcing, stating that they would remain friends. Their formal separation announcement is as follows. We would like to announce that after 7 years together, we have decided to formally separate. For those who followed these sorts of things, we would like to explain that our separation is not the result of any of the speculation reported by the tabloid media. This decision is the result of much thoughtful consideration. We happily remain committed and caring friends with great love and admiration for one another. We ask in advance for your kindness and sensitivity in the coming months. They officially divorced in 2005 after 7 years together due to irreconcilable differences. It's also like interesting to me like that they had a formal announcement because it reminds me of like when people will type things out in their notes app and then like post them
Oh
on
my
their
god, I
Instagram.
was just thinking about the Instagram story BS.
Yeah.
How you release announcements these days.
I know, it really is. So when it came to sort of like separating their assets and everything, she kept the Beverly Hills mansion, but he became the sole owner of their production company, which has done Academy Award winning films like Moneyball, Eat, Pray, Love, 12 Years a Slave, Moonlight. I'm pretty sure Moonlight won like best film or something at the Oscars the year that it came
I
out.
did not realize it was his production company.
I know, me neither. I think maybe 12 Years a Slave might have also won Best Film. Angelina Jolie said that she said publicly that she would never sleep with a taken man, especially a married man, but also admitted that they were falling in love on set.
So they were emotionally cheating, or he was.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, to be honest, like it wouldn't surprise me if it was also a physical relationship, but
Well,
that's my opinion.
emotional cheating can be bad, just as bad, if not worse than physical cheating.
Yeah. If I had to guess, though, like, it probably was both. There were rumors, and here we go. There were rumors that Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt had started their affair while they were still married, and Brad Pitt even was caught in photos on vacation with Angelina Jolie and her son while he was still married.
Yikes.
They denied the rumors at first, but much, much later on, after, the divorce and everything, they confirmed that they weren't officially together until after the divorce. But he was also kind of like seen as, like I said earlier, the guy next door and the good guy. So it was surprising. And as we all know, they did eventually become a full blown couple.
It makes me angry that this didn't like ruin his career because it would have ruined Jen's if it was the other way around.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think like, lots of celebrities have affairs and stuff. Like, I don't think it warrants ruining his career, but you're right. Like
Well, no,
he would have
it doesn't
gotten, she would
warrant.
have gotten a
It
lot more
shouldn't.
heat.
But if it
Yeah.
Jen, it would ruin
Yeah.
her career.
And also, I mean, Angelina Jolie kind of got a lot of flack. Like
Yeah,
she's
I'm
being
sure she
used as a
did.
homewrecker,
I'm sure Brad
you
got
know?
none of it.
Yeah. This was like their split and then the subsequent relationship between Brad and Angelina was like a cultural movement of Team Jen versus Team
Oh
Angelina.
God.
People would wear t-shirts that said Team Jen or Team Angelina after the split, which is
That is
wild to think
wild.
about.
Oh my God.
Like especially after the statement that they put out,
Like what you're making unnecessary like hatred towards a human being like that.
Exactly. Exactly. But due to the divorce and the
Yeah.
circumstances surrounding it, Jen kind of became painted as this like poor, sad woman when it came to her relationships and her track record with men. This all stemmed from the situation with Angelina Jolie. She sort of became the poster woman of this every woman symbol, if you will, for women who have been cheated on or betrayed in relation to this narrative of this kind of love triangle between the three of them, which has continued to carry on.
I mean, it probably like helped grow her fan base because like people could relate to her in a sense. So I'm sure. I don't know where I was going with that.
No, yeah. I mean, it reminds me a little bit of like Ariana Madix and Tom
Oh
Sandoval.
God, yeah.
Like Ariana wasn't like disliked on Vanderpump Rules, but she definitely was not like a fan. I wouldn't say she was like a fan
Yeah.
favorite or like maybe just not even like super involved in like stuff
Yeah.
outside the show. She would keep to herself, but then like after that affair took
Yeah.
off. In late 2005, there was a W magazine spread of Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. And I think in direct reference to that spread, Jen then had a an article done with Vanity Fair where an interview where she essentially said that while Brad is not mean-spirited, he's missing a sensitivity chip
Yeah.
in regard to loosely, that's what she said. He's missing a sensitivity chip.
That's an interesting statement. So what was the spread on in W?
I don't
Just, like,
know, let's
their
look it up.
relationship? I feel like it's very early for them to have a spread, but I guess, I mean, they were, like, the talk of the town. I can only imagine. It was, like, the biggest news ever.
I mean, they probably had more than one because the one that I'm seeing is, like, them and their kids, but
Well,
I
they
don't
didn't
think they
have
would have
kids
had.
by 2005.
Yeah. I also found an article from 2005 from The Guardian, like this super old article. I'm honestly shocked that I was able to like find that or that it even
Yeah,
still exists. But a Guardian article from 2005 where they say their divorce is not the result of any speculation reported by the tabloid media, which is kind of what they say in
that's
there.
what they said in their statement, yeah.
Yeah. There were also rumors that they split because she didn't want children, which has been
Yeah,
debunked. Obviously, she literally said months before they announced their separation that they wanted a family.
yeah, that's wrong.
So, I think that's kind of annoying. I feel like that was a direct result of the fact that, like, Angelina Jolie already had a
Yeah,
kid,
that's I'm sure it is.
and, like, oh my god, Jen is this career woman who doesn't wanna be a mother and
I just wanted to be
whatever.
a dad.
Like, kiss my
Gross.
ass. In 2006, Jen starred in the rom-com The Breakup
Have you seen it?
alongside. Do
Have you
what?
seen it?
Yes, it's so sad.
But I love that movie. I won't.
Oh my gosh. I remember watching it thinking, like, I didn't really know what it was about, and I was like, "Oh my god, like, it'll probably be this fun little rom-com, whatever."
I don't know why they're calling it a rom-com, but I guess
Oh,
it has some funny stuff.
yeah. But she starred in this rom-com called The Breakup alongside Vince Vaughn, which is essentially about a couple whose marriage is breaking down and the fallout of their divorce. At the time of filming was when her marriage was ending, and she did state that she channeled her own life in this
Yeah,
role.
I mean, she's fantastic in that movie.
And I do wonder if the casting director made that as an intentional decision.
Feel like I read something about it.
So that's kind of like the last thing. Like they're at that point, I think like their divorce had kind of wrapped up, and Brad's obviously in this relationship and probably kind of starting to move on. So that's sort of like the timeline of the very recent years past the announcement of their separation. A few years after the divorce in 2008, Jen stated in a Vogue interview that the most hurtful part of the whole thing was when Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie were sharing stories about falling for each other while they were on set, obviously because they were still married at that time. Angelina Jolie was quoted saying something along the lines of, "I couldn't wait to get to work every day. We were falling in love on set." Just like, maybe things like I understand, maybe it had been some time, but first of all, it's not a great look.
Like, you shouldn't admit that ever.
Right? I don't know. I just feel like they became this like again, like this powerhouse of a couple. And so for some reason that was like acceptable. I don't know. But then in 2011, Brad Pitt kind of puts his foot in his mouth because he is quoted saying to Parade that he was really struggling in the 90s, aka like when they were dating slash
Mm.
married, to find himself, and he wasn't living an interesting life, and that his marriage to Jen had something to do with that, and they were trying to pretend the marriage was something that it wasn't, which is a really harsh thing to
That's a
say.
mean thing to say to somebody you were married to.
Yep. So, obviously, like, people picked up on the
Yeah,
fact that that was like, rude and kind
yeah.
of like a passive aggressive insult, and he later spoke on it, saying, "It grieves me that this was interpreted this way. Jin is an incredibly giving, loving, and hilarious woman who remains my friend. It is an important relationship that I value greatly. The point I was trying to make was that Jen is not dull, but that I was becoming dull to myself and that I am responsible for." Personally, I don't really feel like that makes it any
No.
better, but we'll leave it at that. Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie then got married in 2014 after being together for almost 10 years. In 2015, shortly after Brad and Angelina get married, Jen says to The Hollywood Reporter that they don't speak regularly, but they are always rooting for one another and there's really no drama.
I just feel so bad for her. Like, this is, like, a sad story on her end.
I know.
You know this happened with Scarlett Johansson, right? And Blake Lively?
We need to do an episode on
Yeah.
that.
I mean, it's the same thing, because Blake Lively and, uh, what the fuck is his name? Ryan Reynolds met on the set of the Green Lantern.
So that sort of rounds out the section where, you know, sort of divorce into where Brad kind of went from then on out. But there has obviously been more that's happened post 2015 and her comment about them being cordial and civil with one another. After the split, Jen dated other people like Vince Vaughn, John Mayer, which I didn't know, and I thought that
Dated
was kind
Vince
of funny
Vaughn?
because I thought he dated everyone.
Vince Vaughn is what shocks me.
Yeah, I guess maybe from from that movie.
I mean, yeah, I'm okay.
John Mayer, I just feel like has dated everyone
I
in their
it
bus
was really
driver.
yeah, John Mayer didn't surprise me. Vince Vaughn just kind of, like, threw me for a loop.
Yeah. But her last known serious relationship was with her ex-husband, Justin Theroux, and they were together from 2010 to 2018, although it seemed to be an amicable split, which seems to kind of be her brand. I love that she's very non-problematic.
I wouldn't want drama either.
I know. And then the ironic part is that Brad and Angelina divorced in 2016. And there was some speculation about a physical altercation involving their children, but CPS didn't find anything that would confirm that. But I do think that that might have been what kind of like, if it's true, then that might have been kind of what sealed the deal in that divorce.
How many kids do they have?
I think they have 6 or 7, but some of them are adopted, so it makes sense, like, they obviously weren't married for that long, so I would say yeah, I'm not completely sure. After the divorce from Angelina, he dated an MIT professor and architect called Neri Oxman,
Slay.
model Nicole Poltorowski, and model Emily Ratajkowski, or Emrata, and most recently, a jewelry company owner named Ines de Ramon.
These are all very
I
young
apologize.
women.
Yes, they are. And I probably butchered every single one of their names. Because they both got divorced within about 2 years of one another, there has, of course, been speculation of the two
Rip.
reuniting as a couple. 20 years later, we're still not letting
I
it go.
know.
15, I guess. There was a SAG awards ceremony where they were spotted together for the first time in a really long time, and there was serious buzz. In 2017, after Brad Pitt split from Angelina Jolie, but during Jennifer's relationship with Justin
Okay.
Theroux, there are reports that say that he reached out to her to say happy birthday, and he supposedly told her that he was having a hard time with the split from Angelina.
I'd be having a hard time too.
Yeah, I would too. Jen has said that she only sees so obviously shortly after that,
Mhm.
this was 2017, and in 2018 she gets divorced from
Yeah.
Justin. But she has said that she only sees her marriages as successful and that they came to an end because of a mutual decision and nothing more. But when they just decided that they weren't happy, she says was made because we chose to be happy and sometimes happiness didn't exist within that arrangement anymore. Which honestly, I really love this outlook and I feel like it's very underrated in how like progressive this outlook is. Like, obviously, nobody goes into marriage looking to get a divorce.
Yeah.
But like sometimes, like if you were to ask me at 20 years old, like what I wanted in life at 20 versus what I want in life now, you would get drastically different answers. So I just don't think that it's like, I think she obviously, like, there's situations where, these situations were relatively mild compared to a lot of the reasons that people get divorced. But like, I just think it's interesting that she's kind of like, my marriage was great, but like, I don't necessarily think marriage has to last for 50, 60 years.
Yeah, well, people, like, change all the time, and it's a matter of if you're, like, willing to change together or if you're, like, changing to the point where you can't be together.
Exactly. And then in 2019, so post her divorce from Justin, Brad Pitt was apparently spotted at Jen's 50th birthday
Oh, wait,
party.
that's
Crazy.
crazy.
Crazy that she's 50 too. 2020 SAG Awards, where Jen and Brad both attended. There were photos of the two of them that showed flirty body language.
Okay, well, this, like, goes with there was something that happened during COVID where they were on some kind of, like, virtual interview together where he was, like it was, like, all over TikTok, and she joins, I guess, and he goes, like, "Hi, Aniston," and he's like or she's like, "Hey, Pitt," and so, like, they're just being I don't know, I guess they're just both happy with where their lives are now, that they're, like, friendly. I don't know.
Just being
Yeah, I
cheeky.
don't know if they're just, like, good. Like, what they've been saying this whole time, they're friends, and,
Like
it's
it's
being proven, I guess,
NBD.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And like also at that point, 2020, they got divorced in 2005. So it's literally been
15
15
years,
years.
yeah.
Yeah. Jen then says in 2021 on the Howard Stern show that she and Brad are just buddies when asked if their reunion was awkward.
Buddies?
Yeah. Rip. That probably made him sad. I feel like he's still older. Okay, and then finally, most recently this year, she was talking about the media influence in her relationships, and specifically about her this was actually, like let me back up, because this was actually, like, not that long ago. This was, like, a few months ago, like, I think maybe back in May. She was talking about in an interview about the media influence in her relationship, specifically about her relationship with Brad, and she says, "It was such juicy reading for people. If they didn't have their soap operas, they had their tabloids. It's a shame that it had to happen, but it happened, and boy, did I take it personally." So, I essentially am referring to, like, just the sensationalization of their divorce and then how sensationalized Brad and Angelina's relationship became, and she kind of had to watch all of that is sort of like what I, uh take away from that.
Yeah.
They also asked her about her quote that we talked about earlier from her 2005 Vanity Fair article where she talks about him missing a sensitivity chip, and she says, "I just remember the experience of doing it, which was kind of jarring," it being the Vanity Fair
Mhm.
article, "which was kind of jarring. It was also such a vulnerable time," but yeah, that was one for the
And I hope she
memoirs.
writes a memoir. I'd love to.
Yeah. So this was in 2025 when she says
Yeah.
this. So it's kinda crazy that people are still asking her about it 20
I
years
mean, she'll be
later.
asked about it for the rest of his life, but meanwhile, Brad Pitt just goes on Dak Shepard's podcast, not a single mention of anything about his dating life at all whatsoever.
I
He
know.
could have come into the interview being like, "You cannot ask me these questions." Maybe Jen
Yeah.
doesn't said that, like, hasn't said that. So, who
Yeah.
knows? I don't know behind the scenes, but it's just that's what it's looking like to me. So,
No, that's a good assumption. I mean, also, like yeah, I feel like Doc Shepard is kind of known for asking
uncomfortable questions.
those sort of yeah,
Like, Dak's very much
invasive almost.
focused on Brad Pitt's, like, former, like, they both went to NA together, so, like, he did focus on that, so
Oh. That's true. Yeah, I did speaking of that, I did see somewhere that I think he was maybe struggling with, like, drugs and alcohol, maybe during a portion of their marriage too, because I think it was, like, kind of all throughout the
well, that's how
90s.
he and Dax met, record
Yeah.
meetings.
Same with, what's his name? Eric Dane, I think?
Yeah,
McSteamy?
so Eric Dane and, Dax Shepard got into, like, a massive fight, and they talk about that in that episode, and
Oh, it's been so long since I
during
listened to it.
those meetings, but, like,
I need to
Dax will,
yeah.
like he'll fully, like, talk about it.
He'll talk about anything. It's, like, part of what
He's so
makes his
open,
show
it's,
so
like,
good.
fantastic.
Yeah, I'm a fan of him, but yeah, I mean, I feel like this was fun for me to research and do. I feel like I did not really know a ton about Brad Pitt other than that he was with Angelina Jolie and they had a lot of kids, and, one time my mom told me that the show Jessie on Disney Channel was,
Was
like,
supposed to be them, yeah.
supposedly
It
after
is like
them.
a little copy of them. I did know that.
Yeah, so I thought that was kinda cute and
Yeah,
fun.
that is
But yeah, that is the story of their relationship. Hopefully, it makes sense the way that I wrote it out.
I hope Jennifer finds love again,
Me too.
but I think she's, like, doing great in life, and I love how close her and Courtney and Lisa are, like, my favorite thing ever.
Yes, especially her and Courtney, I think, are, like,
Mhm. Yeah.
besties. How old is Brad Pitt? Brad Pitt is
Oh
61.
my god. She's in her
Jennifer Aniston is
yeah.
56. Gosh, does she look good?
So, wait, you said she's 56?
Mhm.
So how old was she? Minus 25.
Mine rise and shine.
Okay, so she was in her 30s when they were married and divorced.
Okay. Well, I feel like it's really rare that you see a celebrity divorce that is as seemingly clean as this one is.
Yeah.
I'm sure that there was going on behind closed doors, but
I just feel like
yeah.
nobody is, like, an it couple anymore, you know? I mean, obviously, like, what comes to mind is, like, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, but it's just so different now. Like, everyone posts about them, but not in the way of, like, we're speculating Travis did this, speculating Taylor did this. Like, and I just feel like that was
Mhm.
very much the narrative back then. Like, they just couldn't just be happy. There had to
Yeah.
be something up, which I'm sure
Yeah.
played a negative factor.
Actually, that was something else that I thought we maybe could add in at the end was like, does this situation remind you of anything currently
Oh,
happening?
it wasn't current, but I did say about uh Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like any aspect of this could remind you of anything. I think Taylor and Travis would probably be the most likely comparison when it comes to like the it couple.
Yeah, the it couple and like the all eyes on them when they go out.
Yeah.
But other than that, because like another one that comes to mind is like Tom Holland and Zendaya, but they very much stay out of the limelight. But they're very much an it couple. when they choose to be.
Yeah, the other thing that comes to mind for me was all the speculation that like, the speculation about Brad and Angelina and, like, their on-set
Mhm.
relationship reminds me a lot of Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell
That
on
and
what's that movie called? Are You Anyone But
Anyone
You,
But You. But
Anybody
that
But
also
You?
just happened in a movie I just saw. Hold on. What are
Anyone But You. That's what it's
that
called.
happened? I have to think. I have to Oh! In Superman. That's happening right now with, David Corenswet and the girl, Marvelous Miss Rachel, I'm forgetting her last name.
Rachel
Ross,
Brosnahan.
yes. And she's married, and there's been like, obviously everyone's gonna ship love interests together. Both are married. David, might I add, is married to somebody named Julia. Wrong Julia. Should
Oh,
be me.
just to put it on the
But it
record, just to
Oh,
set the
fair.
record
He totally
straight,
has children and is very much older than me. But he is the one.
and is not married to
He's
you.
not married to me, and that's just like wrong. But anyways, they're both
Wrong in all
married
seriously.
and everyone's like shipping them together. There like an edit came out of a blooper where the director had obviously said cut and Rachel continued kissing David's face in a scene. And someone had commented like something about like how could Rachel do this? Imagine like seeing this as her husband. And I'm like, she probably didn't hear cut. A lot of people stay in
Yeah.
character in between scenes.
Yeah.
She's an actress, he's an actor. I don't know what to say.
Oh, yeah. It also reminds me of, in the 3rd season of Bridgerton with Nicole Coughlan and, I don't know what his name is, Luke,
I couldn't tell you, but I know.
her love interest. It reminds me of that when everybody was, like, shipping them, but then, like, halfway through the season or something, he, like, stepped out with his new girlfriend and, like,
Oh, he did.
the paparazzi. Yeah.
But it's
It was, like, something like that, but everybody was really shipping them because they said the same thing that they would, like even if the director called cut during, like, the scenes where they were kissing or whatever, they would keep going.
I'm like, clearly, these people have had conversations with their significant others that we were not privy to. That's their
Yeah.
right as a couple. We don't need to be there.
But unfortunately, why they did this, I don't know, but they
Unfortunately,
didn't tell
they
us.
weren't wearing body cams and we aren't
Yeah.
them, God forbid.
Unbeknownst to me, we weren't involved in that conversation, which is confusing to me why we weren't included.
Well, and then also the same thing happened with Outer Banks with the guy who plays JJ, Rudy, and Madison Bailey. I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
her name.
yeah.
Where he literally quit the show because
Wait, you know what?
his girlfriend was
Sorry,
like worked for the production or whatever, but
mm,
so many people were being so mean about their relationship and the fact that they were friends, they were seen holding hands. You can be like some friends just hold hands. I don't know what to tell you. And
yeah,
like to the point where he like had to leave the show. Allegedly. I don't really know the details, but yeah, that happened
crazy.
with that too.
Alrighty, well, I think this is where we'll end it.
Okay, Slay. Thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will see you next week for more pop culture chaos. The stories we cover are based on research and publicly available sources. While we strive for accuracy, some details may be disputed or unverified, and this episode is for entertainment and informational purposes only.